All right, it's the very next day and we're getting ready to put our hoops together. Now the first thing you want to remember is you've got 3 pieces of 10-foot stick that is bent to make the 20-foot hoop. When you do a 20-foot DIY high tunnel, you need 3 sticks of top rail to make that complete hoop. If you do the 12-foot DIY high tunnel, which is the small one in the background there, you need 2 hoops to make that bend and a different bender. So there's a specific bender for the 12-foot high tunnel, which is the smaller one there. And then the 20-foot that we're putting together is another specific bender, because the bends are going to be more gradual on the 20-footer than they are on the 12-footer, because you're only using 2 sticks for the 12-footer and 3 sticks for the 20-footer. So that's why I have 3 sticks laying in the background here. So what you want to do is you want to get the same common, as level as possible place to install these hoops. The reasoning why is because if you move these around to different places, the level may be out somewhere. You may have a hoop that's bent a little bit and a hoop that's not, and then once you get them screwed together, you're gonna have to go back and kind of adjust those. So what I like to do is I like to find the exact same spot where I'm gonna install these hoops, and I think right here is gonna be the right spot. You could go this way. I've seen people install them the same way, but the thing for me is you kind of get into the ground post there, and I find it hard when you're by yourself and you're trying to move and manipulate these poles by yourself. When you've got ground posts in the way, it's kind of hard to get worked around that. So what I like to do is I like to lay it down horizontal here, and I will lay the hoops this way, and then I'll grab one and walk it to where it needs to go. So let me grab some of these hoops and then I'll show you what we're doing. You can see this, and once again, I don't have my my good microphone. Like I said, it broke yesterday, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay on this external microphone. So you've got your 3 pieces and you've got your swedged end. So one end of this pole is going to be your swedged end with your 9-inch mark. The other end of the hoop is going to be the what I was going to call the female side, with a 9-inch mark. So the first thing you want to do is you want to lay this first pole down, and we're going to lay it down like this just to kind of get a lay of the land. So I'll lay it a little bit closer. Hopefully you guys can see that. We'll extend you out a little bit so you guys can actually see that. So you've got your first pole laid down here. You're going to grab your second one. You're going to grab your second pole right here. And then your third. So we're just going to lay those down together like that. And then we're just going to slowly piece these things together. You may have to manipulate this thing up and down to get the swedged ends put in here. Okay, and so you can kind of see how a level piece of ground here will work out into your favor, because it kind of gives you an extra hand to kind of keep these things on the same plane. You want to do it as much as possible. If you're a little bit off, that's fine. But you know, you want to try to keep everything as level as possible. So let me bring you in tight and we'll check this out. That I've got you guys in here tight, you can see how this joint sits in here. And you can also see, if you kink this too much, you can see more opening there and less there. If you go the other way, you got more opening there and less there. So you kind of want to split the hairs there a little bit. Just for the most part, do what you can, like this right here. Now, when you lay this out, you notice you have this arch, right? So your ground posts are going to be at the end there. So this is going to be the top outside of your tunnel. Now, what we've got here to help out, you can definitely do this multiple ways. I have a battery powered impact driver here and a box of number 10 tech screws. I like to use number 10 for everything. The instructions will tell you to use number 8 in certain situations and number 10 in certain situations. That may be true. I find that number 10 tech screw is an overall for everything, so I just use number 10s. That way I don't have to remember what bit goes with what and what tech screw goes where. I just use number 10s and it works out fine for my building. So what we are going to do is we are going to attach these poles together. Now you remember the swedged ends are always going to be on your left-hand side as you sit here. So your swedged end is going to be inside of this pipe right here. The last thing you want to do is put a screw over here because there is no female-male connection there. And you don't want to put a screw on the top because that's where your plastic's going to ride. The last thing you want is a screw and your plastic to rub up against your screw, because you will poke a hole in this because you put the screws in the wrong place. So the screws always want to, if you're standing inside the high tunnel and you look up, you always want all the screws to face you. So which means the screws have to be underneath here. So once again, this is the top of the hoop. This is the male piece, this is the female, which means you want to put the screw on your left-hand side of your joint because that's the male piece going into that. And you only have to put one screw in here. You could put two, I guess, if you wanted to, if you think you needed that much, but to be honest, one screw does perfectly fine here. So I'm gonna show you this way, and then I'm gonna get you up closer. You guys can check this out. So I usually like to go about 1 inch in, and then I put the screw in right about here from this joint. So I am going to go about 1 inch in right here. Just like that. And now you notice they're all joined at one piece there. You could technically put another screw in there, but you really don't need to do that. Let's go ahead and get closer on this one so you guys can see it. We've got our joint here. You can see the male swedged in is going into the female there. I don't have to explain that to you guys. You want to align the post so you've got the same amount, pretty close the same amount there. So you know that swedged in is going to be about that far. I usually like to split the distance. I go 1 inch in. Make sure you are on the bottom of the pole, not the top. Remember guys, this is where the plastic's going to ride. The last thing you want is a screw head sticking on that. Let's screw that in. Sometimes this gets to be a little, I'm on camera now, and plus I'm doing it the wrong direction. Let me do this. There we go. Get my right hand there. Just like that. And now you are ready to go. The only thing is that you've got 13 more of these to make. So I'm gonna put you guys in time lapse again. You guys can sit back and watch me get these all put together. All right, for the most part, I think you guys kind of get the gist of what we're trying to do here. I've got another 7 or 8 poles or 7 or 8 sections I need to build here. So I won't bore you with that, but you guys kind of see where I'm going with this. And then in our next video, we'll get these hoops put into the ground post. We'll get all these connected, and we'll be well up on our way of getting this completed. All right, guys, I'm gonna get to work. Once again, if you got any comments, make sure you leave them down below, and I'll do my best to answer any of your questions. If you like this type of content and you guys are not subscribed, make sure you give me a like, and think about subscribing to the channel. We like to do a lot of cool projects like this that you may or may not be able to find the videos on YouTube about. I try to go in depth as much as possible to answer any of your questions. And anyway, I got to get to work, guys. I think we may get a little shower today, so I want to get this done before we get into a little bit of rain. But once again, guys, I will see you later. Oh yeah, make sure you follow us at Bootstrap Farms on Instagram and Facebook. I will see you guys later. Bye.